Hello everybody and welcome to Inside Gooners. My name is Nick Bray and to go over our humongous victory against Aston Villa. I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Christian Ty and Deluded Gooner. Listen guys, Happy New Year. What a way to bring in 2026. Christian, you first mate.
Yeah, great way to bring in the new year. Happy New Year to everyone watching and you guys here. And yeah, man, it was a good night. It was a good night. It didn't start off as a good day though. You know, the injury news about Declan Rice kind of came out of nowhere, left field, and I think it, took us all back a little bit. But I feel like as Arsenal fans, we got used to that this season. You know, it just out of the blue injuries. I remember against City, Noni came off at half time. He didn't go down in the game. You know, and Saka came on for him, and all of a sudden he's out for a couple of months. Gyökeres against Burnley comes off at half time. All of a sudden he's out for a couple of months. Against Brighton, Timber's out, and it's like, why is Timber out? Oh, it's just precautionary. He's picked up a knock. Calafi, do you know what I mean? We're used to these kind of sudden injuries. So when the Rice news came out, it was just the worst of the worst. You know, if there was one guy you don't want to get injured that we can't actually replace, it's him. You know, the energy in midfield, the quality, the way he drives the team forward. When he does everything in midfield. But yeah, it turned out, and I'm sure we're going to get into it. It turned out to be a very good night.
Yeah, it did indeed. CJ, Christian's just touched on it there. No Declan Rice in the starting 11. Big Gabby back, though. Trossard very much first choice now, it would seem. Eze can't even get in the team. I mean, this is where we're at now as Arsenal fans.
This is where we're at, my boys. Like, this is the problems we wanted. This is why we have depth. Christian alluded to it. Like, Declan Rice injury, shock to the system. No one wanted to hear that. I think because of the calibre of the game against Aston Villa and just not having Declan Rice, we're not accustomed to that. We probably assumed he would play right back, but we just want him on the football pitch. So naturally, that was going to hurt you. But unfortunately, we've been dealing with injuries since August till now. It happens with every team. And I'm sure we're going to allude to it, but, to put in a performance like that, to get the 3 points, to show that level of resilience that, to be fair, we've been showing all season, but in a game of that magnitude, with everything around Emre's and his ties at Arsenal and Arsenal versus Aston Villa, and we're only a few weeks removed from when they actually did a number on us at their place, we got the job done, man, and I'm sure we're going to delve into it, but happy days, man. You mentioned it, Magalhaes was obviously back. We haven't even said it, but Timber was back. We're just handling our business, man, and I'm sure we're bullish around our chances of winning silverware this year, but we have to keep going.
More than bullish. Right, let's get into it then, Christian. A statement win, it's fair to say, because this season, if there's one criticism, I guess, that's been levelled at this team, it's that we've not managed to take major points off of our top four rivals. We lost against Liverpool. We got the draw against City at Emirates. We should have won that, in my opinion. We lost against Villa at Villa Park. So, this is more than just the 3 points.
It is and it isn't. In hindsight, it is just 3 points. It's a massive 3 points, don't get me wrong. But yeah, if you want to argue it is more than a 3 points, then yeah, you can say they're an informed team. They've won 11 games in a row. On that run, they've beat us, they've beat United, they beat Chelsea away, they beat City. They're a very, very good side. But I just kind of want the team to look at this as another 3 points. We're going for the league. I didn't put Aston Villa in a title race. I think they're a very good team. They've got a very good coach with some very good players. But at the start of the season, if you'd said, this game, Aston Villa at home, you expect 3 points. And that's not disrespecting them at all. What they've done has been incredible. But I expected us to go out there and win last night. And the way I looked at it, don't get me wrong, I was gassed when it was happening and the goals were going in. And, Emery versus Arteta, and he's done a number on us as well, so we owed him one. And also, not shaking Arteta's hand after the game. I don't know what that's about, man. Come on. But, yeah, I'm kind of in two minds. Because don't get me wrong, I want to get carried away and I want to enjoy it. But I also want to say it's just another 3 points, The last couple of weeks, City have been able to put the pressure on us when they've played first. And they've, gone above us and then we've done our job. Now we've put the pressure on them. And we've done it, like you say, emphatically. 4 goals. I actually thought the first half was quite even. I think you could see we were missing Rice, missing that energy in midfield. And I thought Onana was brilliant for them in midfield in the first half. I think him coming off in that second half played a big part in us getting control of that midfield. And I thought Odegaard, Zubimendi especially stepped up in that second half. And pretty much everyone in attack. Saka with the ball in. Gabriel, how much we missed him from set pieces. Zubimendi then driving through, being, playing as a striker. I saw Mikel Merino's Instagram post when he's like, maybe we've got a new striker, talking about Zubimendi. But that's what we need, We know as Arsenal fans, we're not a team where one guy scores all the goals. You know, we want Zubimendi to pop up. I think 6 GA now this season. Saka's obviously going to score some. Odegaard now, you know, back amongst the goals. Trossard had a brilliant season. Martinelli can play a part. So that last night, I think, encapsulated what we are. You know, a team where it is teamwork. It comes from all around the team. Gabriel Jesus coming on and getting a great goal. So, yeah, it was a really good night. And I think the last couple of weeks has been, I don't want to say shaky because we've been getting results, but in terms of the vibe around the club, there's been some negativity. You know, a lot of that's come from City doing their job and putting the pressure on. And it hasn't just been coming from Haaland the last couple of weeks of City. Cherky's been stepping up, Foden, and they've been keeping clean sheets as well. So they've been putting pressure on, and we haven't been finishing our chances, right? I think we've been playing well, but we should have, you know, been clear in a few games. You think of Palace, you think of Brighton, think of Everton away. Whereas this was a game which went, look, this is a reminder, and I firmly believe this, we are still the best team in this league.
Yeah, it's such a good point you make, you know, but talking about those games there, agree. Arteta said every time in post-match, hasn't he, the margin is greater than what the scoreline is showing. And it's, you know, CJ, it's a good point that Christian makes just in terms of it is only 3 points. You are totally right. It's only 3 points. We know that, but it's the manner of the win, also against the team that you said, 11 unbeaten, 11 wins, in fact, in a row. And, you know, it silenced them and it silenced a few of the doubters, isn't it, CJ?
I mean, you know what? You're never going to silence the doubters, man. You know, I cast your mind back to the North London derby in Singapore, wherever it was, and the whole crashing out and the extreme opinions. So when I saw that, I knew every week, whether we win, we're going to win the league, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. When we lose, it's all over. And I think I've seen that week in, week out. I think the best thing I just heard from Christian is, essentially, we haven't been finishing our dinner. I firmly believe football's decided in both ends, innit? And I think we haven't been defending to the same standard, whether it's injuries or not. Unnecessarily, we've been making a lot of games more nervy. We've had possession, we've had shots. The eye test shows us that. But we haven't been putting daylight between the two sides 9 times out of 10. And I also feel, after the Wolves game, up until Villa, we was playing a lot better. We just weren't converting chances. Like the Brighton game, there was an unnecessary, nervy half an hour. Yeah. You then obviously look at, we've been conceding in the last 90 minutes. And then you flip it. As I said, football's decided in both ends. We've been playing with our dinner. You know, I know there's a lot about whether it's our players not converting their chances, whether it's Arteta's tactics. Either way, that collective bunch of players are far too good to not be putting sides to the sword. And when you look at that performance, I think when you isolate Aston Villa, I think us fans wanted to see that, where we're never quite nervy at the edge of our seats. We think it's going to kind of go left. Don't get it twisted. The first half, clearly Aston Villa, they came out, they tried to disrupt us, they tried to frustrate us, they were playing through us quite easily, and they were living and breathing on the counter-attack. We all saw how long Emi Martinez was taking. One thing I give our players credit, and we probably need to do it in the first half, we do come out of the blocks 9 times out of 10 at the Emirates in the second half firing, and I think we did that. I think Christian made a good point. When Onana came off, it's nothing to do with us, but that kind of helped us out. And I like the fact that, yes, there's injuries, yes, there's a run of games, yes, there's fatigue, yes, Aston Villa, we can give them all their plaudits, but if you want to win a league, you need to win games of this magnitude. It was first against third, and we rose to the occasion. Zubimendi's flying forward. Trossard's probably been our best informed attacker. He's obviously doing his thing. I don't know if we'll expand on this, but we want Gyökeres to score, but in terms of his general play and stuff, he rose to the occasion. People have been quite critical on Saka. At the end of the day, he's the one engineering things 9 times out of 10. So it's a collective bunch, and we were able to do that. I'm excited to beat Villa because it's not been nice when we've played them. But I'm with Christian in that it's business as usual. We enjoy that win. We just need to keep moving. It was first against third. You could argue it's a title defining kind of game in terms of, it's a 6-pointer. But we did our job. Now we just need to focus on Bournemouth. So credit to the lads and the gaffer.
And you know what we could do last night that we haven't allowed ourselves to do in the past couple of weeks? Like against Brighton, for example, right? 2-0 up cruising. Should have been 3-4. We should have killed the game. You then can't take Declan Rice off when he feels something because you let him back into the game and you need Rice on the pitch. Well. Exactly. Last night, we're 4-0 up. Yeah, you can take off Timber. You can take off Gabriel. If that was 1-0 or 2-1, you can't do that. You need those players on the pitch. Yeah. So it's those margins where it's like, if you kill a game, you don't have to risk those players that maybe need a bit of a rest. And then, they're both going to be, hopefully, fit for Bournemouth. So those are the fine margins between maybe being a title-winning team and struggling to get over the line.
You can say they're them fine margins from being a good team, which we are, to being a great team. That's the kind of territory I think we need to step into. Granted, I know we're not going to put threes and fours past everyone week in, week out, but in terms of like, we created enough chances, put the ball in the back of the net, we should become accustomed to that. So I think that's the next step for our boys, if I'm honest, man. I make Christian right.
And we've got enough players that can score. You know, we share out the goals. It's a team that really does share out the goals. Let's single out a few players then. And there were quite a few standout performances tonight. But Christian, I want to start with our King of Brazil. The man at the back, Big Gabby. He's back into the team. And I don't know what it is. Like, obviously, he's quality, both at defending and scoring goals now, we've seen from set pieces. But something about his presence in the opposition's box just panics them. They don't know what they're doing. Now, Emi Martinez is, I know we've got beef with him, but he's like a quality goalie, right? And he just looked rattled.
Yeah, he's Big Gabby. He just got it, isn't he? You hear, I think John Terry or Jamie Carragher spoke about when they were in the tunnel and they look, next to you and you see like Thierry Henry and Vieira and you just think it's going to be a long day. I think when you're in the tunnel and you see Gabriel and Salih, do you know what I mean? These kind of guys, you probably get a similar feeling. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, they're not champions like those guys were yet. But I think they're getting there. I think they've got that, you use the word aura. I think they've just got that. And the reason they've got that is because they're top class quality players. Defensively, he brings so much stability. Don't get me wrong, we were opened up a couple of times in that first half. It was a bit shaky at times. I think the midfield was a bit of a problem in the first half in terms of being opened up. But second half, you can see, once we just, solidified that unit, defensively we were so good. Villa didn't lay a glove until we were 4-0 up and we'd taken Gabby and Timber off. So, yeah, we know what he brings defensively and then offensively as well from set pieces. The guy is just a magnet. Saka puts the ball just, wherever he puts it, he put it right on Emi Martinez. The keeper should just come and catch it. But he's more worried about, where's Gabriel? I remember against City a couple of years ago when Kyle Walker is kind of pushing him. He thinks he's got him. All of a sudden, he's his head on the ball, back of the net. That's just what Gabriel's got. He's just got that belief that he's going to win the ball. He's going to put it in the back of the net, and that's a massive goal. Breaking the deadlock in that game, which is a tight game until then. It's huge. Credit to Saka as well for putting a great ball in. But yeah, man, it's great to have Gabriel back. There's no shock that as soon as he went down, as soon as he got injured, our defensive record, fell apart a little bit. We started conceding sloppy goals. We weren't having shots on target. All of a sudden, we're conceding sloppy goals. So, yeah, man, it's so good to have him back.
Yeah, top player. And CJ, a mention for the skipper as well, Martin Ødegaard. He didn't get man of the match, but again, another great performance from him. He won the ball for Zubamendi's goal and then slotted him in perfectly.
Do you know how good Odegaard is? I think we all do, and it's about time he's reminded some Arsenal fans. Don't get it twisted and don't mistake me. No man on a football pitch is above criticism, but I do feel it's it goes from criticism to scapegoating, and I think he's just an easy kind of target. We all know he's the captain. Some people don't necessarily like that. We all know he's had injuries. His season's been stop-start. He's put 2 good games on the spin now against Brighton and obviously last night, and that's what we need our captain to do. He gives us everything. He drops and receives it off the centre halves. He offers multiple different passing lanes in midfield. He's starting to get his goal scoring touch and his assist touch, and that's what we need from our attackers, man. We need that kind of output. I can't talk up Odegaard enough. I just need him to put a body of performance. And what we're kind of alluding to, there's multiple leaders. We know what Gabriel Magalhaes does in both boxes. If he doesn't win the first ball in corners, he wins the second. We need to keep these guys fit. We need everybody to individually go through really purple patches of form, and the collective takes care of itself. I think Odegaard was great. Of course, yesterday he'll be lost in the noise because of Jesus, because of Magalhaes, because of Trossard, because of Zubamendi as mentioned, but it's a team performance and the captain leads from the front, even the pressing. Like what Christian said, I did think the midfield on another day, or probably today, Mikel Arteta is going to kind of review that because it was a bit easy, but there has to be a correlation with us having Odegaard back, him getting into form, us looking a tiny bit more fluid in midfield, and we've got our big brother Gabriel Magalhaes to just calm everything down. So it seems like the stocks are going up and the sun's starting to shine on our club again, but we need to keep our feet on the ground, man. But yeah, Odegaard's done his thing, man, in the last 2 games. I just need him to keep it up.
Yeah, you mentioned the next player that I wanted to focus on, actually, and it was so great to see him just doing what we all know he can do, and he's been so unlucky with terrible injuries. I'm, of course, talking about Gabriel Jesus, Christian. A great finish from Jesus, and we know that he's got that in his locker. He's a very techie, skillful player with finesse. And yeah, just to see the big smile on his face, it was brilliant.
I love Gabriel Jesus, man. The 22-23 season when he first came in, I think he absolutely transformed this football team. I bought that black away shirt that year. And for me, it was between two players for who to get on the back. It's between Odegaard and Gabriel Jesus. And I went for Gabriel Jesus because I just thought he was so much better than I thought he was going to be. I'd watched him at City when he was there, and I thought, he's a good player. He wasn't a regular starter at times. And when he came into Arsenal, I just thought, wow, what a player this guy is. Maybe not the best finisher, maybe not the best goal scorer, but as a footballer, the way he could just beat a man, dribbling, just technical ability, even his hold-up play.
Tenacious.
Sometimes I've seen David Raya, kick the ball long. He just holds off a defender, chest it down, beat a guy. I'm just like, he's a wonderful footballer. And for him to have 2 ACLs and be out for as long as he has, it's just been sad to see. So I'm more than happy for the guy, man. And yeah, if he can keep doing that, if he can, I don't know if he's going to be a starter for us. I don't know. That's up to Mikel Arteta. If you want to throw him in against Bournemouth, you can't say he doesn't deserve it if you come on and score a goal. But I would just be more than happy for him to play a part. If you can play a part like he did last night, come on, get a goal, look dangerous, hold the ball up well. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Gabriel Jesus, and yeah, so happy he came on and scored a great goal last night.
Well, let's have the discussion then. Well, as quickly as we can, because we haven't got all day, but and it can take all day. This the number 9 situation. Jamie Carragher on the telly last night after the game was saying that Gyökeres shouldn't start for Arsenal now. He believes Gabriel Jesus deserves the shirt. We've got Kai Havertz, who was on the bench last night. So, CJ, where do you see it going? What do you think Mikel Arteta is thinking?
I think, honestly, if everybody's fit, I think Kai Havertz would be his number 1 just because of what he gives you in that kind of role and what we've been accustomed to. It's a weird situation because, as you said, we haven't got all day about Gyökeres, but we thought Gyökeres would probably hit the ground running a lot quicker than he has now. The one luxuries I can give him is obviously he kind of understands the system. He works hard. He occupies the centre-backs. He does all of that stuff in his own way that Arteta wants. And obviously, I do think, to be fair to Gyökeres, a lot of the times when he's come off, teams have started to gamble and go further forward. So he has kind of been doing that stuff. Even yesterday, you've ran Aston Villa in your own way ragged. The floodgates are starting to open. There's a lot of space. Gabriel Jesus has scored. The flip side is Jesus starts. He is in the trenches, and Gyökeres comes off the bench, and scores. My issue is that we've got 4 players, and kind of what you two have been saying. We know it's a squad game. We need everybody, all of that kind of stuff. But we've got 4 people in what Kai Havertz, if fit, Mikel Merino, Gabriel Jesus, and Gyökeres. None of them are really goal scorers like that. If anyone with a body of work is probably Kai Havertz. I know Merino's chipped in. So for me, until I see Gyökeres go and get goals, I just want Arteta to box smart. It's different strokes for different folks. We can get goals from the wide areas. If everybody was fit at this moment in time, I'm kind of leaning towards Kai Havertz. I don't think Gabriel Jesus will start against Bournemouth, but as Christian said, he's not done much wrong, really and truly. He probably does deserve to start. I do think, though, we need to be careful of going back in time and rewriting history, because as much as Jesus isn't the biggest and he works hard, he's great tactically and things like that, we were question marking him scoring goals. So I kind of don't want to go around it. Part of me wants to persist with Gyökeres, guys, because we bought him. It kind of is what it is. But if everyone's fit, I'm going Kai. I have to go Kai because I haven't seen anything different at this moment in time.
Christian?
If everyone's fit?
Yeah.
I think I'd still go Gyökeres. I'm not giving up on him just yet. I do like the guy. I think there's a real player in there. But if I'm completely honest... Sorry?
No, I was saying there's more to give from Gyökeres.
Yeah, no, I hope so. I really hope so. A couple of chances last night. That first header, I think you got to anticipate Lindelof missing it, and I think you can do better. And the second one, he makes a great run, and then he puts it wide. If he just gets a bit of less of a contact, because the pace is on the ball already, then he probably scores. So I think he'll be disappointed that he hasn't scored. I think that's 7 games. He got the penalty at Everton, but apart from that, I don't think he scored from open play in 7 or 8 games. So he'll be disappointed. You measure a striker on goals, obviously.
Somehow he's our top goal scorer still, I think,
Yeah, exactly. But that goes into my point of what I was saying. We're not really that team where, we rely on one guy. I think in the summer, the whole chat was, if you get a goal scorer, you get that striker, that's the missing piece. We've kind of seen it's not necessarily a missing piece. Maybe because he's not the right guy, or maybe because that's not how we play. But I'll give him one more chance. I say one more chance. I like the guy. But I would start him against Bournemouth. But like I said, if Jesus starts, got no problem with that either.
Yes, it's good to share it around, but I'm kind of with you, CJ, just on, we know how much Mikel Arteta loves Kai Havertz. We saw that, when Kai came to Arsenal and there was lots of questions around him. Mikel Arteta ignored all the noise and was just finding ways to fit him in the team. He was playing in midfield at first, and then he was putting him up top. He just wants him in the team because he's one of those players, a little bit like Declan Rice, that will just give it everything, you know what I mean? Like run himself into the ground. So I think if all are fully fit, I think Mikel Arteta goes for Kai Havertz. But we'll have to wait and see, because trying to predict what Mikel Arteta's thinking, I mean, that's pretty impossible, isn't it?
Right.
Right, so just before we wrap things up, because we're almost out of time already, how do you guys both feel then, now that we're kind of going into 2026, we're top of the table? It's been a little bit stuttery up until, throughout December, I guess you could say that. We've not lost games, but other than the Villa game, but, we've not been performing to the levels that we want to see. So how do you both feel when only, this is football for you, only like a month ago, everybody was saying Arsenal running away with it, no one's catching them. So CJ, I'll start with you. How do you feel? Do you think that we are still favourites, still in the box seat? Are you confident, or are you a little bit apprehensive?
I mean, you know what? We clearly, if we're top of the league, we are in the driving seat. But again, if you are driving and looking backwards, terrible example, but you're going to be in trouble if you're driving a car in it. We literally, for me, just need to keep doing what we're doing. We've got the battle scars and the wounds from last season, which serves as a reminder that we are a good team, but we need to get over the line, and only great teams do that. So the things that we're good at, it now needs to become great. The warning signs and the evident areas of improvement, we need to take heed. Of course, you can't quantify the various different ways there's been injuries, but we need to get a hold on that. That's down to Arteta and the club. Get a hold on that. I need my attackers in the second half of the season with Mikel Arteta to start. I don't want to say pulling their weight, but pulling their weight, because I do need goals win games ultimately, innit? And we need to get back to clean sheets. I've got an element of pride because I do think a lot of us fans haven't necessarily been happy too many times with our 90-minute performances, if not in the Champions League. But we've been ticking over. Even when we've been disappointed with us not necessarily winning games, with the performance, we've been winning games. So I think we've done well. I think we're in a good position. We know what Manchester City could do. We know Aston Villa at this moment in time are there, and a few weeks ago it was all Chelsea. We just need to keep our feet on the ground and do what we need to do. Like, there's been a lot of football from August to December, and it's only the first half of the season. And it's not. I'm not going to say this to say like Arsenal are the biggest and baddest team in the whole world, even though I'm an Arsenal fan. I think we're either our best friends or our worst enemies. So I think if we just chase the illusion of perfection, we've got a parade in May 2026. We don't do that, then it's familiar territory. But I'm filled with confidence, man. It's going to be a long season. It has been a long season. Let's keep it going and flowing, man.
Yeah, I like that. Christian, what about yourself?
Yeah, no, everything CJ said there is spot on. I'm confident. This is the best Arsenal team we've seen in a while, the best Arsenal squad we've seen in a while. They've got the experience and the pain from the last few years. These guys are all a few years older, and they're all good enough. That's the thing. I look around that team and that squad and I think, I look at these players and I think, do they look like title winners? Can I imagine them lifting a Premier League trophy? And the answer is yes. And obviously it's going to be bumpy along the way. Obviously there's going to be, it was never going to be smooth sailing. I think after that Bayern Munich game, a lot of people, maybe not went too far, but a lot of people just thought we'd walk it from there and gave a lot of people a lot of confidence. But this is football. This is a Premier League. There's still 19 other great teams in this league. So it's never going to be easy when you've got to go away to tough places, when you get injuries, when you're going to be inconsistent at times. And there still will be bumps along the road. Just because we beat Villa 4-1 doesn't mean we're going to go on and win every single other game. But what I've seen from this first half of the season, and CJ alluded to it just then, we have had a lot of injuries. It has been tough at times, and we're still top of the league. We're 5 points clear right now. Probably going to be 2 after City play. You say come on Sunderland, but they've lost a few players to AFCON. This isn't the same Sunderland that we played. Unfortunately, hopefully they can do a job. But like you say, let's not look behind us. That was a great analogy, by the way. If you keep looking behind you when you're driving, you're gonna crash. Like it's so true.
Yeah, you're gonna crash, isn't it?
100%. It's so true. Just keep doing our thing. I think those players believe and know that they're good enough. When you put in performances like that last night, without Declan Rice, without Calafiori, it should give you even more confidence. And I think the fans have got the confidence. Like I said, it's going to be bumpy. as fans, as players, just when it gets tough a little bit, we've seen it get tough and we've seen us then come through it. So yeah, I'm still confident and I believe we'll win this league.
I like the sound of that. And plus, Manchester City, although they're looking really good at the moment, they will drop points as well throughout this season. So, it's not over. Right, before we wrap things up, though, Bournemouth up next. I want to get a quick prediction from each of you. Bournemouth have been struggling of late. So, CJ, how do you see that one going?
I think we'll win 2-1, man. And I think it will be one where we start well. We kind of, not coast, but we dominate proceedings. We might concede a goal where we don't need to. I am worried about, they're, like you said, they're not in the best of form. They arguably, by the time we play them on Saturday, Sunday, Semenyo might be a City player. I'm always wary of weakened teams because I've seen my team in the last 3 years. Some of our most standout performances haven't necessarily been achieved with our strongest 11, but we know how good Bournemouth are. We know what Areola's about. Christian and you, Nick, said it as well in that the Prem, everyone can beat everyone, so you can't rest on their laurels. I'm actually confident of a win. Do you know what? I revised my prediction. We're getting a clean sheet. 2-0 Arsenal.
All right, I like that. Christian?
Love that. Yeah, I was going to go 2-0 as well. We know what happened there last season. It was not a good day at all, Saliba getting sent off. So, yeah, we've got to right some wrongs and just keep it going. We know we're good enough to beat Bournemouth. And I say this before every Arsenal game now. We will create enough chances to win that game. And whether we win it or not comes down to us being clinical. Being clinical has kind of been our Achilles heel for the past few years. So, yeah, I'm confident going into that game. It's looking like Semenyo might be gone. I saw Romano yesterday put out a tweet saying it's nearly done. As soon as the window opens, I think they're going to trigger that release clause. So he's by far and away their best player. So if he's not playing, it's a big plus for us. So, yeah, I back the boys to go and get that win.
I don't want to be boring, but I think 2-0 sounds about right. So we'll all lock in for a 2-0 victory then. Well, listen, boys, it's been fantastic chatting. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Enjoy. And this has been Inside Gooners with Deluded Gooner, aka CJ, Christian Ty. Thank you very much, fellas, and we'll see you on the next one.